Hey Scalers, in this video I want to walk you through the top 13 automations we use in our 8-figure company to simplify workflows, keep a lean team, and stay highly profitable. If you don't know who I am, my name is Ravi Wavala. I'm the guy who builds marketing and sales systems for some of the largest names in our industry. Over the past 4 years, we've worked with almost 2,000 clients and generated $25 million in sales for our company. Our mission is to help you build a business that serves you instead of you serving it. So the first one we're going to start with here is one of my favorites, and it's actually responsible for the hundreds of leads that we get every single day from my YouTube channel. So if you guys have looked in any of our descriptions, you will see that essentially I have a bunch of different lead magnets, meaning that I'm offering different things in different videos if people give us their contact information. So for example, it could be a funnel template, it could be a Google Doc that I'm talking about, it could be Zapier templates, any of that stuff. And so essentially, the way that we've set it up here is that whenever a new contact comes through our funnel software, which is ClickFunnels, and it's through the one funnel that we have literally hundreds of lead magnet funnel steps for, then the first thing that we'll do is we actually verify the email in a separate email software in a separate Zap. So I'm going to walk through that other Zap here in a moment, but this is really critical. If you guys aren't doing this, I highly recommend this. We started doing this about 2 years ago, and essentially it keeps you from all the people that are entering fake information inside of your funnels, and we actually do the same thing for phone numbers. Then it prevents them from getting inside your email, your CRM, your email newsletter, any of that other stuff, and ruining deliverability. So we always first check and see if it's verified, and we'll only move forward if it's verified. And then we actually look up the specific spreadsheet that that lead magnet is in whenever somebody's opting in. So the way that I like to describe this is essentially we have one Zap for, let's say, 30 different funnels or 30 different lead magnets that we have. And then when somebody opts in, essentially the Zap looks up into the Google Sheet that has all the different lead magnets we have. It finds the specific lead magnet that they're coming from, and it pulls the name of that lead magnet. I'm going to talk about why that's important here in a moment. Then it'll format that name right here, and it'll put the contact inside of HubSpot. Now, the reason why we have this spreadsheet step right here is because whenever we're adding this person to HubSpot, we actually, if I click on this right here, we actually add in the contact information asset name. So we have a custom field inside of HubSpot where we pull in the name of the asset they're coming from the Google Sheet. So this is a little bit advanced, but I hope this makes sense. In essence, what this allows us to do is have one Zap for 30 or 40 different funnels instead of having 30 or 40 different automations or Zaps where things can break really easily. So I'm going to repeat this really quickly just to make this very simple. We get a new lead from one of the 30 or 40 funnels that we have. Only continues if it's a lead magnet lead. Then we verify the email. Then we look and see what was the name of the lead magnet that they that they got access to, requested access to. We're only going to continue if they're verified. We reformat that name from the Google Sheet, and then we create the contact in HubSpot, adding in that name inside of here. We add the contact to what we call our new subscriber sequence workflow, which is introducing them to who I am, our newsletter, all that stuff. And then we add them to the specific workflow for lead magnets or opt-ins, in which it says, hey, first name, thanks for downloading, asset name here, and then it goes on to the rest of the email. So once again, by doing it this way, I am able to, in essence, have one Zap and one welcome email for 30 to 40 different lead magnets. And every single time I create a new lead magnet, all I have to do is just add a row in that Google Sheet. I don't have to go through and create all these different confusing funnels and all these confusing Zaps. And then we have 30, 40, 50 Zaps, and then things break. So came out of the gate with a hot one here, but hopefully those that nerd out on systems, you guys understand how this works. And if you want, I can maybe do a little bit more in-depth video on how that whole system works, because this is responsible for hundreds of leads a day for our business. Now, this is going back to what I talked about before. I kind of want to break down both of the Zaps and the sheets that go inside of here. So the second one is actually going to be whenever we get a new contact inside ClickFunnels, then it creates that row for them inside that Google Sheets, and it adds whatever the name is inside of it. That way it can look up that row later on. So that one's pretty simple. Literally, as soon as they join, then I can actually pull it up right here. Then we add in their name, their phone number, their email, the funnel ID they came from, the funnel step ID. And then that Google Sheet says, oh, it's from this specific funnel step ID. Then it must be the self-sustaining the self-sustaining funnel manifesto, right? So that's how those two things work together. And then this is the email valid Zap that we have as well. So we have so many Zaps that send into this Zap. And then what it does is it actually will verify the email using a software we use called NeverBounce, and it sees if it's valid. And then if it's valid, then it returns it back to the original Zap it is. So this is really great because this is one of multiple Zaps that we have for new leads coming in. So we have lead magnet leads, we have instant form leads, we have opt-in leads for video sales letters, we have DM leads, ManyChat leads, all that stuff. And so instead of, once again, having so many of these different steps that always say verify, 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 we can just jump to another Zap, verify it here, and then jump back again if it is working. Next app we're going to go through is our Stripe failed payments. So everybody knows what these are. We've all experienced them before. In essence, somebody owes you money and they try to swipe their credit card and for their second payment, third payment, fourth payment, and it doesn't work. Okay, so what do? Well, then you got to first even know that they tried to do it or that Stripe tried to do it and it didn't work. And then second of all, you should probably reach out to them and try to figure out how you can collect the payment. So the trigger on this step is if there's a failed payment inside Stripe, then we only continue if the payment is greater than $1,000, because this is specifically for our high ticket products and services. We also have a low ticket membership site called Scaling School for $97 a month. So we want to make sure we exclude those people. And then we only continue if it is a recurring payment, not the first payment, because all the time, we're taking quite a bit of sales calls every day. Somebody runs their credit card for the first time and then it gets denied because it's, a large transaction to somebody that you haven't done before likely. And so it's very common for it to fail on the first time, but this is actually after the first step. This is the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth payment. So we want to make sure it's only if it's a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth payment. We just reformat some of the stuff from the Stripe step here to make it easier to actually send a message to the clients. We find the client inside of HubSpot based on their email inside Stripe. We update the contact saying that, hey, there is a failed payment for this person. They're overdue, they're delinquent, and that lets everybody in the company know. And then we actually add them to an email sequence where it comes from our controller, our billing department, where they're going to reach out and try to collect that payment. And then we have a full escalation path that goes from there. So this way, whenever somebody fails a payment, and this is all the stuff that we were doing manually before. Oh, we got to make sure the team knows that they failed their payment. Then we got to put it inside the CRM, and then we got to reach out to the client. But now it happens in a split second automatically. And in that workflow, we actually give them a custom link to make the payment on their different card, which happens all the time. And so we're not even needed in that at all. The next one's going to be Zoom recordings. So we have, I think the highest plan that you can on Zoom. We have quite a bit of team members recording calls all the time. And one of the issues is that people are always like, oh, what was the recording for that Zoom? I got to go in my email, or I got to go inside the Zoom account and log in and share it. And clients are asking us for their recordings all of the time. So what we did instead was we just created an automation so that whenever a recording is finished, then we put them in specific Slack channels. So it's very easy that we can reference them. This is another really great thing because if you didn't know, Slack has a search functionality. So if you click Command F or Control F inside of Slack, you can search for somebody's name. So let's say, for example, we have a client and he says something like, hey, your salesperson had said that we were going to do this thing. Can you just confirm that they did say that? I can't remember if we did that before or not. And so what we're able to do is just Control F that client's name, and we see everything that has to do with that client. We see all of the onboarding call recordings, all the one-on-one recordings, all the sales call recordings, and the assets all inside Slack. So I like that search functionality, and then we can click on the link and watch it right then and there. So whenever there's a recording inside of Zoom, and this is specifically for this is actually our client success director, Joe, then it makes sure that it's from Joe through these path rules here. And it also looks and sees, is it an onboarding call or a support call? Because if it's an onboarding call, then we'll definitely send the message inside the Slack channel, but we also put a task inside of Asana to say, hey, Joe, don't forget to fill out onboarding call notes. And I know that some of the stuff might be a little advanced. This is exactly what we build out with our clients. but hopefully you guys are kind of keeping up with me here. So this way, whenever we know that the onboarding call is finished, we're having an issue with client success managers actually completing their onboarding call notes, which is what we need to move them to the next stage and for everyone to be on the same page. And so we just made an automation. We assign it to whoever the recording that did it is, which is Joe, and we put it inside of Asana. And the one-on-one support calls, that doesn't have to go inside Asana. That's simply going to go inside that Slack channel for one-on-one support calls so that we can make sure we can reference that at a later date. Next one. ManyChat. I love ManyChat. We use ManyChat religiously. This is another place that we probably get, I don't know, somewhere between 50 and 80 leads a day on my Instagram. If you aren't following me on Instagram, make sure you go down below and do that. And on there, we're posting lead magnets and CTAs all the time. And so we use ManyChat to automate the responses to those things. And a lot of the lead magnets I create, I ask them for their email, just like I would on a regular opt-in page. And this is pretty helpful because it's a great way to continuously build your email list. This video is not about why you should build your email list or what to do with your emails. I have plenty of other videos about that, but just know that it's really critical that you continue to build a database of potential customers. It makes it way easier for you to scale. So on ManyChat, instead of just saying, oh, you want this thing, here it is, I say, oh, you want this thing, what's your email? They give me their email, and then we add them to HubSpot so they can go in the workflow. They can start learning who we are. We can send them other emails later on, and then we give them the thing inside ManyChat, right? So very quick, very easy, and like I said, that's another 50 to 80 leads a day inside of there. Next is going to be appointment setter applications. So I have a different video on my channel on our entire recruiting and onboarding process. I recommend you check that out if you haven't yet. But this one's pretty cool because what happens is that we get, I don't know, let's say somewhere between 20 to 50 applications a month for people to come work for us. So you can go to scalingwithsystems.com/careers. You'll see all the applications that we have right there. And before it was like, oh, we were only looking at them if we needed them. And, if people submitted their form before their application, we'd have to when it was time to find them, we'd have to go back and review all of them, but then maybe that person found a job elsewhere. So instead, I created a full pipeline where just like a client pipeline or a sales pipeline, we have a recruiting pipeline. And so now I have somebody that owns that inside of our company. They monitor that. And in essence, whenever someone submits one of the applications we have, so we have an appointment setter, we have a client success manager, we have a salesperson, we have, you name it, every position we have forms for. Once they fill it out, then it creates that task inside of Asana in the recruiting pipeline project with the specific information inside of here. So you can see job application, name and email is the title of it, and then name, email, phone number, years of experience, previous offer, all that stuff is put inside of there so that we can see that in the pipeline, and then people can move them through the pipeline, or if they're unqualified, we'll mark them as unqualified. Next one. This needs to be filmed. This is some secret sauce right here. I can't believe I'm giving this away to you guys, but that's because I love you, so feel free to like and subscribe. So if you watch, I have another video on how we create 150 unique pieces of content a month. I should just have a hat that says I have another video, but I put out a lot of content, so we run ads, Senator. The needs to be filmed. This is whenever we are creating content, so we produce quite a bit of content. I created a content pipeline that lets us essentially have all of our media team members and me easily organize the content we need to create, and that's being edited in one smooth area. That way we don't have to always be meeting and frantically talking to each other. And what I realized was that a big bottleneck in our media pipeline was the fact that we were creating Google Drive folders and we were just naming them whatever we wanted to name them. We would put them in different subfolders. It would be hard to find them later on. There was no real rhyme or reason. It was organizationally a nightmare. And there's a great book called Coming Up for Air, where the guy talks about inside of there, if you're trying to systemize your business, you shouldn't optimize for immediate storage, but instead optimize for recalling the information. So what that means is that it's really easy just to create a Google Drive folder and throw it inside there, but then later on when you're trying to recall it, when you're trying to find it, it's very difficult to find it because it's randomly named in some subfolders. So I decided, what if we just standardize and systemize the Google Drive folder process, and we sped up the ability to create those Google Drive folders. So in essence, what I did was I created an automation that whenever we move, and this is inside of the Asana pipeline, a video that I need to film into the needs to film section, then it creates a Google Drive folder following the specific naming conventions from the task and from what we know for those specific types of videos. And so we have multiple different types of videos here. We have YouTube videos, we have shorts, we have assets, which are like VSLs, we have calls to action. These are just not being changed because my tech team seems to be getting a little lazy here. These are like tweet posts that we have, and two other ones, and we also have featured ones as well. So featured would be like if I'm on somebody else's podcast or I'm speaking at somebody else's event. And so it figures out what kind of video it is. And then once it figures out what kind of video it is, then it creates a folder following that naming convention. And then it comes back and adds it inside that Asana task. So that way, anytime we need to search for a video, oh, wow, that video really popped off. Maybe we should run ads to it. We can just type the name inside of Asana, and then we can find the Google Drive folder in about 2 seconds. Moving forward, next we have what we call ring the bell forms. So a ring the bell form is essentially the way that we collect client wins. So if you go to scalingwithsystems.com/wins, we have over 1,000 published client wins. We have way more than that, but I just didn't want to keep on going back and finding more and more. But we have over 1,000 published client wins on our website, and we publish them every single day. I've never seen any other company that does this. It's pretty cool. I'm pretty proud of our team for coming up with this. And this is helpful because it displays to the world that we're getting our clients results and that our clients are crushing it. And it's not just one thing that happened 6 months ago. I'm just using the same testimonial over and over again. And the other thing is that we also want to share our wins and increase the conviction of our sales team. So if I'm trying to sell something, if I'm trying to have my sales team sell something, but they never see any of our clients winning, it becomes very difficult for them to continue to sell our stuff. And I can't tell you how many times I'm on an interview with a salesperson for our company and they're leaving these other huge companies because they no longer have conviction in what they're selling because it feels like none of their clients are getting results. And maybe they are, but they don't have a system for showcasing those results. So what we do is our client success managers are in charge of collecting ring the bells from our clients. So they may ask the clients, what are your wins this week? Or their clients just offer the information up on its own. And then we have a form that they fill out where we collect all the information. So we have the name of the client, the email of the clients. We put the screenshot of the ring the bell, the win that they had inside of there. And then we put, is this a monetary win? What is this from? All this stuff. So we can later on inside our dashboard see how many ring the bells are we getting a week? How many unique ring the bells are we getting? How much money did we generate for our clients, et cetera, et cetera. So this is pretty cool. So whenever someone submits that form, we only continue if there's an image or a video attached to it. It wasn't just like a text. Then we create the task inside of Asana for our virtual assistant to add it to our websites. And then we format some of the things in there to also create it for our WordPress developer to make sure after the person posts it that it's working and it looks good. So very simple, but you can check it out when you go to scalingwithsystems.com/wins. But this is a way that we're constantly adding new submissions inside of our website. Next is going to be the proposal complete. This is an easy one for you. I know some of you guys are like, well, this is insane, but this one's going to be super easy. So one of the issues that we had was that you'll see that a lot of these apps are created because we had problems, and so we needed to automate it, or bottlenecks, I should say. And so one of the bottlenecks we had was that clients were signing proposals, but then we weren't being notified that the clients were signing proposals because it was inside email, and who the heck checks email every single second of every single day. And so what we decided instead is we're all inside Slack all day. Let's make sure that whenever somebody signs a proposal, then depending on who the salesperson it is that sent that proposal, it sends them a direct message in Slack and says, hey, Bob, James just signed the proposal. You can go ahead and start the onboarding process with them, right? So this is super simple, but this is kind of a notification inside Slack. And you'll see, hopefully you're noticing here, we have these like kind of hubs of information. So we have HubSpot, no pun intended, we have Asana, and we have Slack. And those are the three kind of hubs of info that we have. Instead of having 50 hubs of info and trying to figure out where everything is, we can kind of consolidate things down. And realistically, it's just Asana and Slack. HubSpot we just use as the CRM to send and receive messages. The next is going to be a welcome call task. So this one is pretty cool because unfortunately Asana right now doesn't have a built-in feature for round robin. If you don't know what a round robin is, it's essentially where you're evenly distributing out tasks to a group of people. So instead of just saying, hey, every single time we have a welcome call, this person takes it, what we want to say is, hey, whenever we get a new client come in, whoever is round robin randomly, whoever's inside of our client success team, they should pick up the phone and welcome that client on there. Once again, I have a different video on our entire client success system. I would recommend checking that out. It's like an hour-long video. But in essence, that's one of the things that we do. We like to welcome our clients as soon as they pay and let them know, hey, you're in good hands. We're going to take care of you. And so we round robin that between all the different client success managers that we have. So whenever there is a new task of a welcome call inside of Asana, we only continue if it's a welcome call. We always delay it for just a few minutes because we want to make sure that all the things from the previous task have populated. And then we essentially create this is a little bit advanced, but I just kind of want to show you guys what's possible. We create a 3-step sequence in order to do that round robin. So we pull the API in from Asana. We run a specific code inside of Java that formats that information from Asana. And then we go into a separate Zap, just like the subtask from before, where we have all of the client success managers inside of there, and we round robin between them. And then we update the task inside of Asana and assign it to that specific person. So this is another great example of this Zap, because we have multiple different tasks that have to be round robined. I'm trying to slow down here. There's multiple tasks that have to be round robin. So instead of every single one of them having this multiple 5-step Zap that's required to round robin it, then we only have to set it up one time, and then we can just recall that Zap later on. And it may seem complicated, but once you set it up one time, it works perfectly. Next is going to be probably our favorite thing in the world, and this is a new cash notification. So we have multiple payment success channels. So we have payment success scaling school, payment success low ticket, payment fail, blah, blah, blah. And so this is our payment success channel. We're only going to continue if this is a new payment for new clients, and it's greater than $1,000 because it's only for high ticket stuff. And then we send a channel message inside of Slack saying, hey guys, congratulations. This person, this name, email, phone number just paid. And that lets our sales team know, that lets other people know, hey, this person just paid. And once again, going back on a 30,000 foot view, if we ever were to type a client's name into Slack, we could see, okay, this person paid on this date, then they signed their proposal on this date, then they had their onboarding call on this date, and here's the onboarding call recording, they had a one-on-one call recording, and here's a one-on-one call recording for that there. So everything's inside of it, and it makes it very simple. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, is the credit redemption form. Now, this is only going to be really relevant to those of you that have membership sites. We have one called Scaling School. We love it. It's a great way. About 50% of our high ticket sales come in from low ticket, and this is what we show clients how to build this for kind of recurring revenue in their business. And what we do is we created something, a credit system inside of our membership site. So I haven't seen this in any other membership sites out there, but in essence, whenever somebody joins our membership site, they get 10 classes immediately over hundreds of modules inside of there, but there's also 50 total classes in there. And so instead of giving them all at the same time and overwhelming them, and then they just leave because it's too much content, we give them a credit every month to unlock a new class. And so we have a whole system around it. There's a form that's submitted where they select which credit that they want, and then we format that information inside of Zapier. We create a spreadsheet row. I teach all of this for our clients, but we create a spreadsheet row inside of our credit redemption tracking sheets, and then we go inside of Asana and assign a task to our team to make sure they unlock that class for them. And we also send a channel message so I can kind of keep an eye on what classes people are requesting so we can unlock additional classes for them.